All right. Okay, just make sure my mic is working. Welcome in, everybody. We are live on all channels except TikTok this time. So, gonna be a while before we get that account
What's
back up.
up?
So we have Cody in here. We
Yes,
got a
sir. It's been a
people,
while.
few people on our on Twitch even too. So definitely definitely got some people on today.
I want to talk about some layer twos because I've been looking at the markets for a while now, and I see some big money going into Arbitrum and Optimism, and you want to get in on that ETH layer two niche because I see Arbitrum 10xing. I'm gonna start deploying a lot of capital. Like I'm keeping my quant and my Polkadot. You guys know I'm big on quant and Polkadot, but I'm gonna deploy a lot of capital into Arbitrum because I think you can get anywhere between an eight. This is not financial advice. Don't take my word as guaranteed because nothing is guaranteed. But I feel a solid intuition that you can get an 8 to 10x on Arbitrum.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. I just haven't been buying much crypto over the last month. It's been busy, as you guys know. We haven't been on in a month because I have a moving and logistics company, and we've been swamped. It's
Oh
absolutely
yeah,
swamped lately.
I
So,
understand that. I
so
didn't
it
feel no
is
type of
crazy.
way.
Yeah, and normally December is like when it starts to slow down. This was the first December where it's been like the business has been doubling. So we've been
I'm
kind
glad you're
of
making
been
money.
on getting people hired on, properly trained, uh, getting also getting a new warehouse on the Springdale side. Not really a new warehouse. This is a secondary warehouse to handle the overflow because we're at max capacity at my warehouse. So it's been busy for me, and I'm gonna go over some of the wins there and losses. Um, Cody, I think you got a little bit of feedback on your.
Oh yeah, that's my vent. I'm gonna turn off my vent.
Oh, okay.
That should fix it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was much better. All right. Definitely, but definitely glad to have you guys on here. Cody's gonna go over. He has a lot of stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah.
We have a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm going to talk quite a bit about my businesses and stuff. There's also going to be a video that I'm going to post later today, only on Patreon, just about about videos about my business, what's going on, obstacles I overcame, how I performed in 2023, what I'm trying to do for 2024. So it's definitely going to be interesting. If you guys want to check that out, the link is in the description. Also, if you just want to just sign up for free on Patreon, get the newsletter. It's going to come out every Friday for you guys. Newsletter, what Cody and I are doing, what we're looking into, investments, thoughts on some topics going on in the marketplace, things like that. Also, we're going to try and have this more regularly. I don't know how I can with business going so busy right now, but it definitely going to try and have
We'll
our
have our time.
more morning market news every Monday through Friday, and our what's in your portfolio every Sunday, and then doing our Wednesday night streams and our Money Monday streams as well
I'm
for
just
you
glad
guys.
business is picking up. Like, yeah, it would be nice if we stream more regularly, but the fact that you're making more money and the business is doing well, like I'm really, really happy for you on that because I'm all about making money. There's more to capitalism than just crypto and investing. Right now, my main avenue, my main focus is crypto, just because that's for my lifestyle. I work a regular type of job. I don't have a business yet. I don't make a lot of money at all. I make about a little over $30,000 a year. If you want me to be transparent and realistic, I don't make much. I've been in crypto for 3 years. I have literally my yearly salary in crypto right now. So it's like I'm doing well, but I'm nowhere close to where I want to be in life, man. Like y'all don't understand how hungry I am to change my life. I'm not happy with where I'm at in life now. Like I'm not living. I'm not. I know I'm only 23 years old, and I'm grateful for everything I have, but I'm just not happy right now, and I'm trying to change that.
And part of it is identifying where you want to be, what you're dissatisfied with, and then how you're going to change it. So, but let me get into some of the morning news. We have a market cool off. We kind of had a nice 10% correction, but we're down almost 4.5% on the market, down to 1.65 trillion. It was at it was over 1.7 a little while ago. We have trading volume at 108 billion, and we have Bitcoin dominance at 51.3%, Ethereum at 16.3, while we got the greed and fear index at 74. We also got Bitcoin still hovering a little over 43K. It's kind of bouncing back up almost 2% on the hour, but down almost 4%, 3.75% on the day. We got Ethereum down 5%. We have Solana down almost 8%. XRP down almost 8%. I did buy some XRP just to shout it out there that, I did buy a little bit XRP once I saw it was at 57 cents. So,
Man, speaking of Solana,
bit.
I'm just really kicking myself on that because I really thought I was doing the right thing by not buying Solana. I mean, looking back, you can say hindsight is 2020, but looking back, Solana really did seem like it was heavily manipulated. The fact that the network crashed and at the time it just seemed evident that Solana was just something you didn't want to mess with. And then it just 11x's. If I was buying Solana for a straight year, which is looking back, that I wouldn't have done that anyway. I was focused on buying Quant and Polkadot and things I really understood. But man, like, really hate that I didn't take that opportunity.
No, I hear you. I missed out on that opportunity as well. I kind of got in when it was at 30, but I only put like 1% of my portfolio value into it. So I could have put in more, but I was playing on the safe side, which is what I always recommend you guys should do. If you don't feel right, you don't invest in it. I had a strong feeling that Solana is being manipulated. I still think it's being manipulated by venture capitalists
Yeah.
have invested into Solana and FTX, and they're trying to get their money back through artificially pumping it up. Now, it did run up. It had a stable coin launch on its network. So it's definitely drawing in some traction for it. Does it look like a good long-term investment? It's going to be good for the bull run, but it's not something I plan on holding after this bull run. The only ones I'm planning on holding after this bull run is Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and
Quant.
Quant, Dot, and Chainlink, because I feel like those are going to be long term.
Oh yeah. If you guys didn't know, speaking of Quant, Zapier, I made a whole TikTok about that. But Zapier actually made a revenue of $250 million this year. And Zapier is a web automation tool for meetings, emails and conferences and stuff like that. And it's for automating workflows. Well, if you go on Zapier's website and you look on their apps, you go on the app search bar and you type in Overledger, it's there. And it's in beta mode right now. Overledger's in beta. That's how you know it's a long-term play. But they list the functionalities and stuff, and that's why I'm heavy on long-term Quant, because Overledger is pretty much in beta right now, but it has so many good use cases. And the fact that a company that made $250 million this year, 12-year-old company that integrated that technology, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's definitely a good add-on for the quant network and everything and building it to it. But it's like I said, it's still getting a lot of great things happening with it, but it's not getting a lot of traction and movement with it. It's just
Yeah.
kind of staying there. So that's still a good opportunity for you guys to dollar cost average in on quant and still get in at a good price point. Because I mean, Cody and I have a target between 1,500 and 2,000 for this next bull run, and it's definitely something I would say you want to really look into it. Definitely do your research and look into it to see if it is something that you want to invest in. But as you know, guys say don't try to moonshot your life savings. Make sure you have your emergency savings in place before you start investing in any of this
Oh
stuff.
yeah, and I would look into Ethereum layer twos because, guys, I don't care what what people say. The Solana pump brought in this narrative that Ethereum is dead. dead and that ETH is a crappy chain. I don't listen. That's a bunch of that's just causing FOMO for the Solana ecosystem. I honestly think that big money will flow into ETH. It will cycle like it usually does. The big money will cycle from Bitcoin to Ethereum. And then because you have all this money flowing into Ethereum, you want cheaper gas fees. So you're going to see layer twos pop like crazy. And I know what I'm talking about. Like big money is going to be flowing into Arbitrum and Optimism. And why those two? There's more layer twos out there, but those are the most established and the most developed on layer twos. And I think I have enough quant, I have enough Polkadot. I'm just going to be funneling money into both Arbitrum and Optimism. I'm going to go 50 for every Optimism that I buy some Arbitrum. I'm going to buy both.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's definitely a good strategy to have there, Cody. But before we get back on the crypto, let me talk about what's going on in the markets too. And as you guys know, I'm always transparent with my portfolios as well. Like crypto, I think I was at a height during Christmas of like 2.4 million on crypto, but I'm back down to 2.1 million right now. And with the stocks going into this year, I'm at almost 2.4 million on my stock portfolio. A lot of that charge has been led by Porch Moving Group, but now we're starting to see that market correction that I've been talking about, and it seems like we're starting to go down. We have the Dow. The Dow's down like about 0.5%. We have the Nasdaq down almost 1%, but it looks like we're starting to trend downward with the trade volumes going down. A little people are sketchy on how people are going to afford homes. Now, keep in mind, guys, there's still like 3 instances that can cause a black swan event to happen this year for the financial markets, both crypto, stocks, real estate, and that's mainly because we're running into a scenario again where interest rates are going down a little bit, but they're going to cause the last bubble in the housing market where the values of the houses will skyrocket and people can't afford them. I'm also looking at every real estate agent now that's out there. A lot of them are showing me signs that we're in 2007, right before 2008 happened, because they're all saying, don't miss out, don't miss out, don't miss out. And it's all the same rhetoric that was in 2007. Don't miss out, don't miss out, don't miss out. So I'm thinking like we could have a bubble pop in the real estate market coming. Probably not going to happen until like September, October of this year. I'm already preparing my businesses for that. My moving and logistics businesses are reserving 33% of profits to increase my reserves to last us through, because I don't know what's going to happen. And this year, I'm already focused on knocking down my corporate debt. So I think my businesses have no debt. It's just I got like a $2 million mortgage left, or well, business mortgage on the warehouse, and we're going to knock that sucker out by June of this year. I want to go into that worst case scenario with no debt, and that'll put me in a good position. So just be careful with that one. And also, you also have the auto loan industry. You're going to see a lot of dealerships go bust. You're going to see a lot more cars hitting the repossession lot. We still have layoffs after layoffs after layoffs after layoffs. Walmart actually just quietly let go of about 35,000 people because we started moving. That was part of the reason why we were busy. One of the brokers for my moving side that I have a contract with has a contract with Walmart, and they were moving people out. And they quietly let go of 35,000 people. I was actually talking to one of he was a mid-level manager for their software engineering and on internet department in there. And he said they just quietly laid off 35,000 people out. And since it's not a lot compared to how many people Walmart employs, but they just let them go very quietly. And you're seeing a lot of businesses, they're just slowly like knocking off people and not replacing them. They're just doing without. And the
It's
final,
a reality.
it's a very sad reality. And so you guys got to be prepared for that. That's why I say have an emergency savings, because you never know when that's going to happen. Also, the final nail in the coffin that could be a disaster for us is that the trucking industry has changed. For decades, the trucking industry was an overtime exempt industry, meaning no business operating in transportation, trucking, moving, or delivery had to pay people overtime. Starting this year, they now have to pay overtime. Starting this year, anyone who's making 55,000, I might be wrong on the exact amount, but it's over 50, it's in the 50,000 range. If you make less than that, whether you're salaried or hourly, you have to be paid overtime. So this is going to be a huge factor because it's going to push out a lot of owner operators out, because even though they work for themselves, they are still subject to labor laws for themselves. So it's really weird. Also, a lot of small cap and medium cap companies are going to bite the dust because you're not going to be able to afford the overtime. They're not going to be able to afford to compensate their people more. So we're going to see one of two things: the prices of goods are going to rapidly increase, or we're going to see a shortage of drivers, and therefore we're going to have a shortage of goods, which is still going to drive the prices up. And now the last kind of caveat to the transportation industry is that California is now cut off. Like, I think you have to have a truck of 2009 or forward. A lot of foods like pecans, lemons, avocados get shipped through California and then throughout the rest of the United States. Well, a lot of truckers can't get in to get those foods. So it's going to be interesting because with the overtime now being mandatory in the trucking industry, as well as all these new regulations on trying to get the carbon zero or emission zero emissions, is going to drastically change how we're going to get stuff. So that means we're going to have shortages of food. Food's going to go back to being regional. Factory farming is done because if you can't ship it, factory farming's over with. So I see in the next decade, in the next decade, because younger millennials, Gen Z, and definitely Gen Alpha, they're not getting into industries like trucking. And that's going to severely hurt because there's a lot of baby boomers in trucking that are getting ready to retire. Or what a lot of people don't know is if they can't pass their DOT physical, they can't activate their CDL license. So they will get pushed out. So there's a lot of truckers getting pushed out of the market, and there's they are going to be in for some they're going to be in for some hurt. And that's what's going to happen is like grocery stores are going to go from national factory farm distribution to regional local distribution, which means you are going to have to get foods in season. So if you're a young person, you better figure out how to can, preserve, make juice concentrate, because that's how I did it when I was growing up. That's how my parents did it. Like, we didn't have oranges, strawberries, blueberries, all that stuff. We didn't have it year round. It came, you got it, you made your concentrate, you froze it, and when you wanted orange juice, you cut off a block of the concentrate and mixed it with water. That's where we're kind of headed. And that's going to cause such an economic shift. It's going to be impossible to really live in cities at that point. Without factory farming and the distribution system supporting factory farming, the big cities like New York, Miami won't be possible. You will only be able to source locally, which unfortunately will either mean people will spread out, or unfortunately, a lot of people in big cities, they're going to suffer greatly because they're not going to have the funds to be able to pay for that. And then that is something serious that could happen. Now, we won't see the results of this right away. You're not going to like look and like, oh, 2 weeks now from January, it's happened. No, it's going to happen when you least suspect it. And my guess is it's going to happen in October, because if it doesn't happen in March, the next historic event for huge market crashes is October. And we could hit that right around October. We'll have a complete market reset, a restructuring of our economy, and then we'll be getting better. My only thing is if the government does a bailout, then all we did was kick the can down the road. But if we let if we let the markets fail and restructure, us millennials, like I'm a Gen Xer, millennials, Gen Z and Gen Alpha will be in better off. But then we also got when those Gen Alphas are coming to 18, apparently, if you watch a lot of videos from teachers, they're going to be a problem too when they hit 18 because they're operating life without consequences. And it's
Yes.
and one thing about life is no matter how much you think you can operate however you want, life is going to hit you like a ton of bricks and tell you step back in line because life has a way of saying let me show you how things are really done
There's a
because
teacher crisis.
there is a teacher crisis too, and part of it is I know we're kind of going off a little bit of topic here, but part of it is because feminism kind of changed the economy and the nature of our society. Whether you are for feminism or not, you have to acknowledge this. Because what feminism did was it took the best and brightest women who normally went into teaching, then went into like becoming a lawyer, becoming a doctor, doing other things. So that left kind of the average and below average women to kind of go into there. So that's why the teacher value is going down. Not to say that they're all like that, but that's just how it is. The brightest women back in the day only had the opportunity of you're either a school teacher, a nurse, a secretary, or stay-at-home mother. And when wartime happened, you might have went into factories, which for the United States was we were constantly at war. But those are your only options. But then when the 70s hit, the options became be whatever the hell you wanted to be. So then they can go and be doctors, lawyers. They can run their own businesses. They didn't have, you didn't have, I know there's a lot of controversy on it, but just just continue this conversation is that they weren't able to get their own accounts. They had to have their husband. Then now from the 70s, their marriage and all that stuff wasn't as needed as it was 80, 90 years ago as it is now. So now women are getting to do what they want to do. So what's going to happen is same thing with men. It naturally fills out. Like the best and brightest go do certain things, and the ones who are the average go do average things, and then the ones who are below average do the below average stuff. Unfortunately, especially when I was growing up, you were always told go be a doctor, go be a lawyer, go work on Wall Street because you want to make as much money as you can. Don't be a teacher, don't be a garbage man, don't be a truck driver, don't be that. But at the same time, like you can make a good living as a teacher. My dad was a teacher for 4 years. He was a teacher. He made I think his ending salary was I think his ending salary was like $180,000 a year. Now, granted, he had tenure and he was in the same position for 44 years, but that just goes to show you the power of a good union and staying with it. But that's also going to feminism kind of created the market that we're in. Unruly guidance kind of created the situation that you guys are in right now, and the fear of failure created these weird bubble sessions. So just be leery of that as you're investing and understand that we still have a black swan potential to happen and kind of crush the markets and the economy.
Oh yeah, just like crypto. Like last night before I went to bed, my portfolio was up. I woke up this morning, I'm down like almost $4,000. Am I hurt over that? No, but you guys have to keep in mind that yes, crypto is in an uptrend right now, and I'm specifically on crypto right now. Stock market's doing good right now too. The S&P 500's up, but you got to be open to the fact that our economy is still not booming yet. So a lot of these pumps are artificial. Look at Solana. That's artificial. Is Solana bad? No, especially when Solana went through that crash, it was in beta. I'm just saying, though, it does seem like it's being artificially pumped, and it's bringing a lot of retail in to ape in. And what's going to happen is when we go through a black swan event, like Sal is saying, it's going to crush things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be you just you don't want to kind of like shovel in a lot of money in at the wrong time, which is why we always say excuse me, dollar cost averaging is the best way to go because you're only putting in a little bit at a time and you're evening out the risk over the course of time. But just beware, like if you're thinking like you're going to invest today and at the end of the year you're going to have all this money, you most likely won't. And by the end of this year, you might not, especially if you're just starting your journey, because we still have a lot of black swan events to happen. We still have some corrections in the economy. We still have some markets that are adjusting to the new terms. And like we got cities that are overpopulated and not enough rentals and housing units. We have offices that are vacant. We got corporate real estate firms going bust. There's actually a big firm down in Northwest Arkansas that went bust, and all their land and corporate buildings are going up for auction. So I don't I think that because of COVID, the work at home kind of changed things, but it it kind of showed the worst and the best. I think people were definitely happier with having a work at home environment because then they didn't feel the pressure of their superiors on them at all times as you are in the office. But businesses have suffered severe productivity loss. I think the average is like 74% productivity loss across the nation, no matter what industry. And we got to adjust. The market's trying to correct for that. Not just like the financial markets, but the labor market is correcting for that. And we're still at an all-time high of unemployment. Not all-time high. I mean, all-time lows. Like I think we're at like 3.1% unemployment. In order for us to have a stable economic growth in our economy, the unemployment has to be hovering between 6 and 8%. So that means a lot more people are going to have to lose their jobs. And even though the Fed are reducing rates, they're only doing that to kind of ease the bubble. But trust me, by the end of the year, they're going to rack up rates again because we really need a 10 to 12 or even 15% interest rate economy to kind of cool us off rapidly and then bring us back. And it will also curb this unnecessary spending because there's also like I noticed at Walmart, you can now use Affirm like buy now, pay later for your groceries. That's a bad idea. That tells me we still have not hit the bottom yet. Even though it seems like things are recovering, we still have not hit the bottom yet.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't get the best feeling on that. Does it help people get their groceries? Yeah, but is it sustainable? No.
Yeah, it's not sustainable, especially since they can get approved that they're now. I know Walmart's thinking they can get approved for up to two, three, or $4,000, and they won't just buy groceries. They'll go back and they'll get that TV or the computer or whatever. But consumers overall are going to eventually stop spending. Eventually, they're going to stop. And what's going to happen? And now this is good for the value of the dollar because people will stop spending, which means people start hoarding their cash and building up their savings again, which means the value of the dollar will start to increase a little bit because we're holding it. And that also means the prices of goods and services will start to drop because there's going to be less and less of a demand and an oversaturation of supply. So let's just take the moving industry, for instance, right? I'm in a market for my moving company in the Northwest market area. This is the cheapest prices I have. Because if I go on my St. Louis office, they're twice the price here because there's only 5 other moving companies to deal with. I come here, there's 140 moving companies just in Northwest Arkansas alone. So that means not only are we trying to compete on service and value, but we're trying to compete on price too because everybody's just knocking down prices till people go bust. And it's just kind of the cycle. But when that happens is when you have an oversupply, eventually enough people will be pushed out. And that's what's basically going to happen when people start hoarding their cash. Enough manufacturing will be pushed out. All of these little offshoots, off brands, new businesses within the last 10 years, they're all going to go to the wayside. And what's going to happen is we're going to come back to the main staples, and you're going to get your meat from the local butcher, you're going to get your fruits from the local farmers market or local farmer. That's kind of how it's going to go, and it's going to go back to regional stuff. And I'm very weary of it, but at the same time, for me, that scenario is good because that means I can deploy more cash for more capital for more assets, and then I grow my wealth that way. That's how you. That is how I what I'm waiting for. That's why I'm not buying a lot of stocks, real estate, or anything. I haven't bought a property since all October, November is when we closed on that property. That was the last property I bought. Usually I buy like a property a week, but I haven't been buying anything because I'm anticipating the worst case scenario. If it doesn't happen, great. It's good, great. It doesn't happen. But if it does happen, I'm well prepared. And I want you guys to understand that like this is a strong possibility. It sucks, but if we hit the worst case scenario and the worst case economy, it's going to make everyone that survives it, it's going to make them stronger. And you're going to learn a lot from that. And then you're going to grow. A lot of people don't know this, but like Rockefeller, when he was creating Standard Oil, he was surviving through one of the worst economic times in the United States at the time. There was a complete economic collapse, and he made it through that. And the lessons he learned through that helped make his business empire going forward. Shout out to Crypto Dream. Welcome in, one of our great supporters. Glad to have you back in here. Hopefully, as we grow, we also want to check out his channel. He's up to, I think, getting close to 450 subscribers. I want to try to help him get to 500. So anyone watches, go to Crypto Dream on YouTube and his TikTok and give him a follow and a subscribe. And same thing with Cody. Go follow his TikTok, CodyHarris.eth.
Yep, I post a lot of just other content. It's not just crypto. I just post whatever's on my mind.
Glad to hear that you're enjoying your time off, buddy. And we appreciate you joining in.
Yep, it's my day off too. I'm currently just enjoying the live, and I learn a lot from these lives. I really do, because I don't get to hear your perspective through other people and through media and stuff like that. That's why I really love when we go live, because I listen to you talk and I learn so much. I don't learn this much from anything else, not even from YouTube. And like when we go live, I learn a lot. It's like you have a sense and knowledge of where life is going and where the economy is going, and I listen to it and I learn.
Well, I appreciate that, Cody. And uh, Crypto Dream says Cody has been doing incredible, and yes, he has. Well, better than a lot of these other young guys. I see them in the gym. You got the one bucket going, but you barely afford the gym membership, and you have no money, and you're like, where the hell is this money going? And they're not investing in anything. If they are investing in something, it's goddamn Dogecoin or some weird ass meme coin. I'm like, oh well, you just lost all your money.
Yeah.
But hey, I appreciate that, Cody, and I thank you. And I thank you all you guys for supporting, because this is supported by you guys, and we really appreciate you guys joining in. I never thought of myself having a unique perspective, but I do sit and I watch and I learn everything I can before making a decision. One thing I've learned from my finance advisor and professor in college when I was going through college for my economics degree was that he told me that you can't ignore anything related to finance. Every decision somebody is making has an effect on the economy. And even topics that aren't related, like most people don't tag dating and relationship and the economy, like dating and relationships and the economy, to finance. Like they don't tie it together, but how people are dating and building relationships directly affects how the economy is going and can change sectors of the economy. And when you see directions like that, you can understand where we're going. When you see how people, like right now, there it's like we're kind of divided down the middle 50-50 on whether people are like either for capitalism or there's people for communism, and what's going to happen. And you got to take that into consideration as you're making your investments, because their decisions are going to affect how the market is going to change and adapt. And just like dating, like once online all the online dating sites came in, Instagram became popular, social media, traditional dating went down. And who suffered the most from traditional dating? It was restaurants and movie theaters, and like anything revolving around dating, even cards, flower shops. Like the only reason there's flower shops is because of weddings, graduations, and just generic ceremonies. So, you gotta watch and pay attention to everything. And it's hard, and I always say it sounds like a weird thing to say, but you gotta people watch. When you people watch, you'll start to see and understand how investing works. And when you're going into Walmart, you're looking at how people are investing, growing, and building. You'll see very quickly how things are how their decisions are affecting the markets.
Yeah.
But as we continue, I kind of want to say a little bit about my businesses. I was down about 22% for last year on my moving company. My logistics company was up about 15%. Rental revenue, of course, was up tremendously because I doubled the volume. No, not double. I tripled the volume of units I had. Um, Shout out to Crypto Dream. You think the drop means anything for the ETF? What do the insiders know? The ETF is going to get approved. I think this was just a dip of one, people taking profit, two, the market's cooling off because we had to feel good during Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. And now that that's over, it's starting to cool off. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just on a slow downward trend for the next 4 or 5 days until it levels out. We're just dealing with a minor correction. Like
That's
I
good.
would be worried if it was like a 30 or 40% drop overnight. That would be a worry.
Yeah, but I'm glad that it's gonna be like that because I'm still not done stacking my bags. I didn't have enough cash like I wanted to in 2022. 2023 was a heavier accumulation year for me than 2022, and I wish I had more cash in 2022 to buy. I was still buying, but not at the levels I've been buying for the past year. And I'm gonna be even deploying more capital. My money is going into Ethereum layer twos now. I have a lot of Quant. I have a lot of Polkadot. I I want my money to go into layer twos because if I have a solid 10x on all my, I fully believe I can get close to a 10x on Polkadot. I can get a solid 10x on Quant, and I can get a solid 10x on these Ethereum layer twos. That would put my portfolio probably at about 300 grand if we hit a big bull run and those 10x. And I fully believe the ones I'm in are going to 10x. That's why, when we started streaming, I was talking about stacking Ethereum. I actually swapped my Ethereum for Quant and Polkadot. And Ethereum's is still a great buy. You can make some gains on it, but I'm more looking for those 10x gains. I'm trying to make as much as I can from this bull run.
Absolutely. And I want to say like one thing I'm going to be adding to my portfolio is Polygon. Um,
Yep.
that's one I'm definitely adding in. My gut is telling me that they are going to be intertwined with GTA 6 as they're doing their pay to play or play to earn. I think what's going to happen, it's not going to come at the launch of the game, but I think it's going to come in 2025 when the crypto market starts to gear forward. this is going to be a good option to have because crypto gaming is going to come back with a vengeance. Shout out to Crypto Dream. Might be the last real bull run. Maybe the regulations are coming, will change things. We'll still have bull runs, but you're not going to see a bull run of this magnitude. What you're going to see is more like the crypto will become closer towards the forex industry, where it'll be volatile, but not volatile like what crypto is right now. It's currency trading is still rather conservative in volatility compared to the crypto world. And I think with the regulations, it'll get closer to the stabilization in value as the stock market is. So it'll kind of have slow moving ups and downs and swings in the market. You won't have this where you lose 20% in a day. You'll have like where you lose 20% in a month or two once regulations get involved and more money gets involved. But that also brings up another point because you want to what I think is going to happen is because of I call it the Andrew Tate effect. The Andrew Tate effect is causing a lot of men 30 and under to really start putting money into crypto and stocks. More so crypto than stocks, but it's starting to push through. And what I think is going to happen is that even though whether they're putting in a couple hundred a week, but you got hundreds of millions of guys across the world who's going to start putting money into this stuff, and that's going to push the values ridiculously high, just astronomically high. So just be prepared for that because that's going to be like its own kind of bull run. I don't know when it's going to happen. We can't predict it. It's I just have a feeling that because of what's going on in the dating a part of the world and how human relationships are forming, it caused a guy like Andrew Tate to come up, and then his rhetoric is going down through the levels, and it's the same thing. Get your money up, get your money up, get your money up. And the first thing they're going to start looking to is they're going to invest in crypto, they're going to invest in stocks, they're going to invest in currency, they're investing in real estate. They are going to artificially pump the market as a whole at worldwide. I've never seen something like this happen because usually you can't artificially pump a whole world's economy. Like there's too many intricate parts, but there's so many I guess the best way to say is disenfranchised men across the globe that are watching this stuff, and their goal is to get their money as high as possible, and they're going to put it into crypto, forex, and stocks, then real estate, because that's all those same guys talk about that are all in kind of like the Tate effect circle. Get your money up, do crypto trading, do forex trading, be a day trader on stocks, and then they're talking about getting into real estate and rental properties and things like that. That's what they're pitching consistently for the last like 2 or 3 years, and they're still pitching it going into this year. These guys are going to get into it. So if you're deciding whether or not to start getting in now, I could tell you right now, get into the market. Just get in, stay in, dollar cost average in, get to a point to where you fix your credit, get your reals, be able to buy real estate and rental properties, buy duplexes, don't buy fancy stuff, buy economically sound, safe options. Don't buy the duplex that's like $1 million for 2 units. Buy the duplex that's like 200,000 for 2 units. Things like that. Because I'm telling you, the value of those properties are going to skyrocket when the demand really hits. Because there's right now people the average house sells like 642,000, but it's not as high. It's not going to be nowhere near what it is in the coming years because those are just single family homes. I'm still getting duplexes for an average of 158,000 across the Midwest. So I'm still seeing that. I'm still seeing great opportunities out there. I mean, so that's what I think's kind of happened. I mean, uh, I know a lot of them are in really Cody's age bracket, like 20 to 25 range. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but it's like it feels like they're all going to come into the market at like one point of the year. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Cody.
and I just want to. Oh, I'm gonna get a little personal here, but this is mainly speaking on my experience. There's probably a lot of men who feel like this, and it's gonna get a little personal, but there's a lot of fed up men that are around my age. Dating's not working out for them. I'm seeing it on TikTok. I'm not the only one posting about it or talking about it or feeling about it. So a lot of attractive good, they're not even out of shape. It's not like, they're weird. Like there's genuinely good looking guys who have their stuff together, and they're going through it, and there's a lot of who are just fed up. I know I'm fed up. I'm tired of getting disrespected by people. I'm tired of just how everything's going in my life. There's a lot of guys my age who feel like me, who are unhappy in life, who are unhappy with the way women treat them and how people treat them. And so we are trying our hardest to get our money up, and we are trying our hardest to pretty much, whether people want to admit this or not, but success is the best way to get revenge on people. And that is just how there's a lot of men my age who feel just like me, who are just fed up. We're just fed up. We're unhappy with life, and we want to increase our resources. We want to get into investment avenues, and we just want to change our lives.
Yes, and I mean, not all are going to have the same view as Cody, but they will have. They will get into the market. Where I think some of the view is get money, get the women. It's kind of like a Scarface scenario. I think that's what most of them are playing about, but there's still a good amount like Cody. They're just frustrated with their position in life, so they're trying to change it. Which is also why I kind of want to get into talking about, gyms. 'Cause I think Fitness is. I'm not sure if they're a publicly traded company. Yes, they are. Planet Fitness. I want to pull this one up because
By the way, Zapier is a publicly traded company. I might buy the Zapier stock because they made a good revenue this year. Anyway,
yeah, and that I'm looking into that one too. I'm actually going to have a video on Zapier go out a little bit later this week. But I want to talk about Planet Fitness because Planet Fitness is one the cheapest place to get a gym membership. I think it's like $10 for just come in. You can do whatever you want. So a lot of these guys are signing up for gym memberships. They're signing up for services, and that's on top of like the normal New Year's resolution. People getting into fitness, getting into things, getting into trying to change their life and things like that. But the Tate effect is going to have a very, very positive effect on this company because I have a feeling they're going to rise through the roof. Because as the economy tightens up and people's budgets tighten up, these guys are going to go here because a lot of young women are going to these specialty gyms because it's a marker of success. Like, oh, I go to such and such gym, and it's like, oh, well, that's like $50 a month. So it's a little bit more exclusive. So they don't get a lot of like their own age. They get a little bit older crowd, which is which is what women are looking. No matter what people say, women always look for a minimum of 5 years or older. So that's where they're going to go. A lot of young guys are going to go to Planet Fitness and they will spend a lot of women. They'll only spend like a month or two and then they're out. They won't go to the gym that consistently. A lot of these guys that are affected by the Andrew Tate effect, they're going to be in that gym and they're going to be in that gym forever. And the fact that Planet Fitness is back to 24 hours open, where a lot of these exclusive gyms are not 24/7, it's going to they are going to pump this stock up. I wouldn't be surprised if 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027 are probably some of the record earning years for this business. Now, I'm not putting any money into it. I'm just watching it, guys. So it's not in my investment portfolio. I am just watching it. And this is part of how you invest in stocks. You just watch stuff. But if my thoughts on the Tate effect happen, I have a firm belief that this company's going to do well because cheap membership. And if you're a guy that has very little money and you're trying to build your career and build your fitness, you're going to go for this. And you're going to go for this pretty religiously. Now, I also have Planet Fitness membership, and I go every morning before I head into the office. And I also like it because if I'm doing a move and I'm out in like Las Vegas, I can hit the gym up there, or wherever town I'm at, I can go to the gym. So I also think that's a positive effect that will have on it. But I do see this in the long term. And let's take a look at the last 3 years. I see it's been pretty stable over the last 3 years, but I think this is going to have a very positive effect. And if you look, you're going back. Well, we're going back 8 years since its IPO. So $8. It's up. Now it's down. It's down for the day. I think it's down for last year, but I have a feeling it's going to rise. So I would not be surprised if this hits $100 a share coming in around, I'd say, the end of 2025, like a nice slow steady gain. I don't know. I'll let you guys know if I do end up buying shares of it, but right now it's just on my watch list. But there's companies like this that are relative to the Andrew Tate effect that are going to really, really help the market in a certain aspect. And if you're getting in now, you're going to be in a really good position because I don't think any of that's going to happen until like 2025. Because in order for them to make the maximum effect on the market, those people are going to have to increase their earning potential to be able to put more money into it. Kind of like Cody, he just got a position at a convenience store chain where he's a fresh food manager. So now he's in entry level management and he can progress his career forward. Even though he may not plan on being there long term, he still can be there, learn enough, and kind of maybe get to the next level, general manager, before he decides to leave, kind of deal. And even still with the bull market, definitely keep your jobs. Don't just quit your job. Like keep your job, take your profits, and then reinvest into new markets on that. But the Andrew Tate effect is definitely going to have a huge effect in the coming years on it. I don't think anyone really understands how much of effect his stuff has on the younger generation of men. Whether you believe in his rhetoric or not, it's going to have an effect. But I think that's all I really have to say. I mean, we've been on for
That's
about an hour. No, go ahead, Cody.
Oh, I was gonna say that's Andrew Tate's goal and a lot of these influencers. Whether you believe in his message or not, it's going to have an impact on the youth. And these people don't just come out of thin air. Like these people come for a reason. It's a reflection of the current status of how our world is. A lot of things. Yeah, I don't know if you can necessarily blame feminism. I don't know, but there's just a lot of men who, and yes, I'm specifically speaking on men who are just frustrated. The economy's worse off, and used to, the economy was better. We didn't have an extreme wave of feminism like we do now. And so used to, men were a lot happier. There were, you can get a trade and, like corporate greed has gone up over time. But, back in the day, it's like, you graduated high school, you either went to college or you got into a trade, you meet a woman, you know, the economy was decent to good. And, things, men were a lot happier. Nowadays, there's just so much toxicity out there. You got TikTok, you got all this social media stuff that's just ruining vibrations, ruining young men and how they feel. And young men feel less inclined to take the traditional route of, you know, learn a trade, meet a woman, because it's harder to meet women now, and the women on Tinder and social medias aren't really the ones you want to look for. And men are just getting frustrated and they're trying their hardest. I can speak on now, like you said, there's not going to be a lot of people that feel like I do. How I feel, it's unique. There's probably other people that feel the way I feel, but not everybody. But ultimately, people like Andrew Tate in the manosphere, there's a reason why it exists. And people need to get out of their feelings and accept that there's a reason why it all exists.
Exactly, and there's a reason for everything, but I wouldn't say that it was happier back in the day. Because I will say this: I grew up in the '80s, and I was kind of a teenager, and in my young early 20s, like in the '90s and late '90s, and early 2000s. I'll tell you this: the world is, despite what you see on the news, the world is a lot safer now than it was 20 years ago.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, because I remember going into New York right when the iPod came out. If anyone saw the Apple headphones, they would instantly mug you. You just get decked in the face, and they would take your phone and iPod back in the day. And I always remember there was violence, there was riots. A lot of people don't know, but it's like early '90s at the Rodney King riots. They were burning cities to the ground. Like people were frustrated. And like 1993 was the worst real estate crash, and it was worse than two. It was about the no, maybe about the same as 2008. Then you had like 1987 crash where a lot of Wall Street firms went out of business. Um, what else? You had the '82 crash. You had the oil crisis in the late '70s. You had like in the late '60s. You had another penny stock crash and things like that. So there's been some real bad dips in the economy. The only thing that worries me about this era is that we had the longest growth period of economy in the history of the country. So that's because usually when you follow the longest country, the longest growth, you is preceded by the worst downturn. So that's what we got to be careful on. Uh, and yes, the dating world has changed. Things have changed. Although I would say this, since the dating world has changed and you got the Andrew Tate effect and all that stuff's going to start happening, you might want to invest in like healthcare association and any businesses involved in like therapy and things like that, because that's going to be a real big industry boomer in the coming years as more people seek therapy, more people are getting into getting into healthcare, taking care of themselves and everything, getting healthier. I'd also invest in Whole Foods and things like that. Shout out to Crypto Dream. People are tracked more. Has its pros and cons. Yeah, that comes with technology too. We got more cameras, more people got more cell phones. There's always a camera watching you somewhere. Since the Patriot Act that was signed in the early 2000s, unfortunately, they can listen in on keywords in your conversations on cell phones. So it's just the way the world is. However, I don't think it's going to drastically change how America operates, because the one thing you can't do to America is take away rights, because people are willing to die for those rights. But it's also, this brings like an off-topic point too, because with Roe v. Wade overturned, I can tell you right now, more women's rights are going to be taken away. I don't want to say it. I'm saying in this way because you, no woman said if you take away this abortion right, we're going to have to fight to the death. They did not do that. All they did was yell about it for about a month, and then it disappeared under the rug. And because Roe v. Wade got overturned, now it can be forced because now you have, according to Roe v. Wade, you no longer have technically body autonomy, which means you can go get vaccinated. I can tell you when and how you can do business. You can do a lot of things. I recommend that if you're conservative, you might want to put Roe v. Wade back into authority, but they're not even appealing it, so, or appealing the decision of the Supreme Court. I understand all the nuances about it. What I'm saying is it's kind of like that they took away one brick and you didn't say anything. So they're going to take away the next brick. And if you don't stand up and say,
Yeah,
F
exactly.
you, give me my rights back, or we're going to have to fight to the death. We're going to spill blood for this. You're not going to get it back.
I
And
saw girls. I saw girls posting. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
no, go ahead, buddy.
I saw girls posting about, if we took men's gun rights away, there would be angry. Well, of course, because those men would be willing to die for those rights. There's no women out there that's trying to die over body autonomy. We're not seeing them. They just post and cry about it on social media. You take away gun rights and you take away, our amendments and stuff. People are gonna die for that shit.
Exactly. Exactly. If you were going to storm the Capitol, that's what they should have done. They should have stormed the Capitol. You start putting physical pressure and saying, you took away, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. That's it. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. That's it. That's why that's why the Second Amendment's still around, because you try to take away a Second Amendment, they're gonna say, we're dying on this hill. You either gonna kill me, I'm gonna die free, I'm gonna live free, or I'm gonna die free. That's how they operate. When they took away Roe v. Wade, women don't operate like that. It wasn't a die. It wasn't a. It's live free or die free. It was. They did not do that. They said you can't take away our rights. They took it away. That you can't do that, and then that was it. Wow, you stopped traffic. Whoop de doo.
Heard about it for a whole month straight,
Yeah.
and then it disappeared. It was literally a whole month.
And I'm gonna tell you, for any of the feminists that do want to watch, if you had stepped up and said, "Kill me," if you said, I will not, if I can't live free, I will die free today, I guarantee you, Roe v. Wade would say, oh no, we're sorry. Change it back. They would have changed that back in a heartbeat. Why? Because your rights cannot be defended if you're not willing to spill your blood. Just like with civil rights and rights for minorities, they went out there and said, we are going to live free, or you are going to have to kill me right now. And what happened? They got their rights. Everybody got their rights. When women got the right to suffrage, they said, you're going to have to do this, or we're going to have to die. That's it. We're going to have to fight. And what happened is, okay, we'll give you the rights. They're sugarcoating a lot of stuff. When rights are given, it's only given because blood was spilt for those rights. And then they become valuable. That's why our freedom is valuable, because our veterans, our armed service members, our founding fathers, there's a lot of people that spilled their blood for us to have those free rights. And the price to maintain those free rights is you have to be willing to spill the blood to keep those rights. You have to. That's why it's live free or die free. That is literally the cause of America. That is what we say. Nobody cares. That's why nobody kind of comes over here and kind of screws around with us. They're not going to say they come, oh, we don't think, we're just going to take everything you got. No, because America's coming. Nope. Live free or die free. That's how America rolls. If we ain't going to live free, we damn sure going to die free. That's how America rolls. That's how most people roll. However, when Roe v. Wade, you would have thought Americans, live free or die free. That's it. If you take this right, then we got to fight to death right now. They did not do that. They did not do that. You let it go. And then what's going to happen? Mandated vaccinations. They're going to come. You're not going to have a choice. You did not die on that hill. Then what's going to happen is more and more and more intrusive things are going to come. If you are serious, if feminists were serious about my body, my choice, and the rights, they would have said, live free or die free. but they did not. That's just my final thoughts on that.
Exactly. This is a little. This might be. It's a little on topic, but a little off topic. I know a guy. It's actually that Brandon guy I told you about, who's in his late
Hmm.
20s. You know, he went through a failed startup. He even said straight up, he said, "I will not date a woman who got the vaccine." He said, I will not date a woman who got the vaccine."
Exactly, and I understand that. First off, yep, shout out to Crypto Dream though. Before I answer Cody, it's a yep. Never underestimate the power women have. New Hampshire slogan: "Live free or die." Never underestimate the power of the general person. Period. Because I'll tell you right now, if you came in and said, "Well, you can't own a business because you're black," oh, we fighting, and you're gonna have to kill me because I will. You will not tell me what to do. And if I
Yeah,
was,
because who wants to live in that world?
yep, if I was a woman, I would have said, "Fuck you. We're gonna fight." It's like that's it. There's gonna be a fight. If there's a chance to storm the Capitol, that would have been a chance to storm the Capitol. What were they gonna say? You took away abortion. They stormed the Capitol. I suggest you put abortion back. That's
Do
what
you
they
know,
would say.
Sal? Have you?
You didn't do that. You just let it go. Because if they took gun rights away, what the hell do you think they're going to do? All of the everybody for gun rights would have stormed the fucking Capitol. There would have been mass chaos, and they would have said, "You know what? Keep your guns." That's what would have happened. You got to push back, and trust me, they would not even stop there. They would pull out every politician and say, we're doing a full reset." If you did that, that's why gun rights stay. They stay. And
Exactly.
even the military is for gun rights because our right to bear arms is a huge deterrent to every other country, even possibly coming in here. Even if you cause mass chaos in the military, you still got all these independent guys that are saying, live free, die, live free or die. That's it. You're not going to take me without a fight, and they can't. Even now, even if China wanted to invade, they couldn't get as far as Nevada because there'd be so many people with guns. They would cause mass. They would reduce the number of the army in an instant. There's enough people with guns in the United States that if a enemy plane were just to fly over, all of us can shoot the guns in the air and we'll eventually shoot it down. That is crazy. That's how much guns and ammunition is spread out. But it is what it is what it is. With that, I know we're way off topic on it, but it has a relevance to the overall sentiment of human emotion that's added to the economy because
Oh yeah.
I, it's like if you want it, you got to fight for it. But with that
You know
said,
the saying.
go ahead, Cody. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. You know the saying. First you get to the women, then you get to the children, then the men follow suit.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the same thing with the Roe v. Wade situation. It's like you take away like guns and stuff like that. Like I already said, you'd have men storming the fucking Capitol and stuff. But it's like women. It seems like in this, and I'm not talking down on women by saying this, but it seems like women, they're more easier to follow suit than men are. They're more easier to follow suit. And I think the government knows this, and there's even women in the government that'll agree. But women are, if you put a law down, or you take away rights, women are more likely to say, you know what, even though I don't like it, even though I'll throw a hissy fit on social media, it
mhm.
is what it is. But men are less likely to do that.
Yes, I think because complaining isn't necessarily right. Like, let me take it for instance, right? I had someone that tried to push me around. I had a bank that tried to push me around because they thought I was a young black man that, I would just bow down. No. I said, nope, you're going to pay me my money. You're going to pay me restitution and we're going to fight this. And if you want to fight, we can resolve it here or we can resolve it in the court. I'm going to bring everybody I can into court. I will make this your worst nightmare. And when they realize, like, oh crap, this guy is going to stand up for his business, his people, and his workers, and what he's entitled to, don't mess around with this guy. And what happened is, now this happened a couple years ago, but it gave me the reputation of don't fuck with this guy. pay him his money, keep him happy. Otherwise, he is going to cause us problems. And like I said, I don't bring it to like, oh, social media. I don't complain a little bit. I take it right to your front door. I'll knock on your door and say, "What's up? We got a problem. I want it resolved right now. You have 5 minutes to resolve this." And all of a sudden, but I'm not angry. I'm just very forceful. I'm very determined. And there goes, hey, give him his shit. If you're like that, you walk up and say, hey, I didn't say for you to take away this right. I want this right. Give me this right, or we're going to have a problem. The rights would have been given back within a month. But now you're not really fighting for it. It's like, well, we got to do things this. No. I'll tell you, and most women are, or at least I should say, middle class and up women are less likely to bump heads with confrontation. They'll yell, they'll talk, but they won't take it to the level where I might be severely hurt or lose my life to protect what I think is my right. That's what happened, and unfortunately, it's just going to keep going now. The snowball effect has already started. It's going to be hard to other than replacing everybody in political office, and I mean everybody. But on a side note, if we do replace everybody in political office, I say the best law is they cannot have a job, and political office is no longer has a salary. That will prevent people from making it a career. It's a service to your country. Make it like that. We'll pay you $20,000 a year, and you can't invest or do anything. But with that said, I got to get going because I do have an appointment that I got to get to.
This was a very great stream. This is probably one of my favorite streams in a while because we talked about a lot and I learned so much. It's like a teaching session.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I know some of the stuff we talk about you guys may not like, but we appreciate you guys for being in here. We really like your support and you joining in. You know, it's our lives are definitely supported by you guys hitting that like and subscribe button. We're not Cody and I are not on either side of the political spectrum. We are for whatever makes our pocket, which makes sense for our pockets. But a lot of what we talk about, and it's just trying to get the point across. If you're not going to, like, if you're not going to defend for your rights and willing to spill the blood, then it wasn't. Then the right will disappear. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say. And if people thought abortion was a God given right, then they would have died for it. They didn't. That's my thing. Because if you were to storm the Capitol, that would have been a storm the Capitol moment. When they weren't going to give equal, like they weren't going to give the full equal rights to blacks and minorities in the 60s, they took and marched on Washington. Guess what happened? Things started to change. You have to be willing to do that type of stuff. Otherwise, the rights will constantly be taken away. But with that said, guys, I do have to get going. I got an appointment I got to go see at the bank so I can get this final funding for my new additional warehouse. Really appreciate you guys on here. We are going to be live later tonight with our normal Wednesday scammer scams and financial fraud stream at 5 p.m. tonight. And then we're going to be back on every morning with crypto morning news for you guys. Well, Monday
Hey, that would be amazing.
Monday through Friday. So I'm going to try my best, but bear in mind I'm running 4 businesses really. Oh, and by the way, I didn't even mention my furniture store. My furniture store is, I think that was the biggest mistake. I've lost $2 million on that venture, putting money into it, buying out that guy, getting everything settled and everything. But I think I can turn that sucker around. I also want to kind of take videos of the stores and things like that down the road. So once I get everything cleaned up, because this looks like a yokel local type store. I'm not trying to do that. I want professional, well presented stores, and that's going to take time to fix up. And I probably where I'm going to spend a majority of my dividends, which I did not get a dividend off the furniture store, obviously, because it's operated at a loss. But the construction company that I'm part owner of, my logistics and moving company, I'm taking those and I'm pushing them over towards that furniture store. But with that said, really appreciate you guys joining in. Definitely give us a like and subscribe. And follow us on TikTok as well. Follow Cody on TikTok, codyharris.eth. But also follow me. I'm Simply Investing 60 on TikTok. I know I haven't been posting much on there, but I will promise I will do more daily postings on there. And follow Crypto Dream. Give him a follow on TikTok and like and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Hopefully, when our time frees up a little bit more, we can get involved in doing another stream again. That was definitely very fun. I want to do that more frequently with other platforms and YouTubers, kind of, and share our opinions and things like that. But that said, guys, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the stream. We'll be back on later tonight. Definitely always remember to do your own research and respect the market, because if you don't have respect for it, it will take everything from you. With that said, guys, peace. I'm headed out.